Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Let us know if we're live. Are we live? Are we live?
Are we live?
Let us know in the chat if we're live. We're trying to see if we're live. Are we live? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know in the chat if we're live. We're waiting on the chat to let us know if we're live to talk about day one of New York Giants training camp, which we're very excited to talk about. We're back, baby. Football is back. Are we live? We are live. What's going on? Welcome to Talking Giants training camp day one recap. Myself, Bobby Skinner, Justin Penik. We're gonna talk about each offense and defense. Today was more offense because they are not in shoulder pads or any pads at all yet. So it's more offensive focus, but we're going to go through these every single day after practice, offense and defense. We'll answer some chats at the end. Don't
get mad at us.
We're not going to be answering a ton of chats like in the middle. We're going to try and keep a flow. Day one, it just felt good to get back out there. It really felt good to open the van this morning, drive it up to camp, see everybody. And, I mean, the number one topic, and I hope every day we are beating this topic to death. I really do. Is that Darren Waller is nasty. Like he is a nasty player. Watching him is like, man, that guy is a total difference maker. When you compare it to, because of the injuries and stuff, and he's getting older, you have some worries like, hey, Kenny Golladay looked good before he was on the Giants. Guess the Giants doesn't look as good, even though he was a little better in 2021. No. This is like day one. There is a noticeable difference when this guy is on the field, and he was targeted a ton, targeted successfully, had a circus catch, and he just looks bigger than everybody, anyways. And then he also runs like that. This is why you go and get a Darren Waller. This is why you trade a third-round comp pick for Darren Waller, because he was, as they were working only red zone today, he was the number one target and basically the only targets, like him and Bellinger, basically.
And we really didn't even get a chance to see him showcase his speed, because primarily of all the 7-on-7 and primarily the 7-on-7 stuff, it was all red zone stuff.
All red zone. So going in, not red zone from the 20-yard line either, from the 5 to 8-yard line in. So again, like you said, not really showing off his speed a ton.
But I love that though, because that's what's been missing. In the infatuation with Evan Ingram and waiting for Evan Ingram to, skyrocket and take that next step. I feel like everything in the red zone needs to be absolutely, finite, and it needs to be so technically advanced, and you need to be so perfect. Where Darren Waller showed today, there was one play where it was like a contested catch. He was double covered, two guys draped on back of him, bobbled the ball, winds up bringing it down, touchdown Giants. So that's like a contested catch situation. And then another one, and why I brought up Evan Ingram, is route running. There was whether he went outside to inside.
A little angle route. Kind of like outside, inside, sticks his foot in the ground, boom, goes upfield, touchdown, separation, clean, nice, easy. And it's like, man, seeing a guy that big move that fast and also be that good at route running, it's just something that we haven't seen. And Darren Waller is the story from day one of Giants camp. Yeah, and they ran a ton of 12 personnel, which is surprising to see when you're not really running the ball. You're not
in the red zone
and pads.
Yeah.
And Bellinger was the other red zone target, right? That's who we saw targeted a ton. Now, there is a disclaimer. You'll see some like Saquon had a nice toe tap catch and stuff, and there's a few other little highlight plays. Because it's 7-on-7, there's no pass rush, no O-line, D-line. So there was 3 or 4 times where hey, Giants quote unquote scored a touchdown, but there was good coverage and DJ didn't throw the ball, and then scrambling. Eventually, someone's gonna get open, but at least they didn't have the. We even saw at the beginning last year, the first couple of days were exciting, but there's an interception or a really bad play offensively. Yeah. At least they didn't have that. The bad plays still ended up in receivers' hands. It was just, hey, that's not going to happen in a real situation.
I thought DJ looked pretty comfortable, but today's the main story isn't DJ, and really today I don't even feel like there's a major story from today. This is day one. This is a ramp up period.
Darren Waller's the major.
Darren Waller's the main story, and I love that we're walking away from day one where basically if it's a glorified walkthrough and if it's a passing camp and we're talking about Darren Waller's the day one takeaway, yeah, I'm sold. Give me that all day. But I'm excited to see as they ramp up this week and as the practices get more intensified, who else kind of stands out and if Darren Waller can continue to stand out.
Yeah, and Bellinger made some tough catches too that were in the red zone. So I'm excited to see those two guys work within that 12 personnel. And they did 4 11-on-11 plays for the first team in the red zone. DJ had a nice touchdown to Isaiah Hodgins, where Hodgins beat Deontay Banks on a whip route. Another check down to Eric Gray, an incompletion on a cager pass that was a little tight. What was the other touchdown? Do you remember? I think it was
Cole Beasley.
Oh, you know what? It was Daniel Bellinger. It was the exact same play they ran in the Vikings where Daniel Bellinger got wide open on the little fake toss rollout. But this time they actually covered it well because they were in man coverage, and DJ fired it in there. Nice tight throw rolling to his left, and Daniel Bellinger just catches everything, brought it in. So very, very little 11 on 11, but at least the offense looked good in that. It's as a fan, obviously we're watching both sides of our own team, so one side's going to do bad. But I think when you're watching these camp practices and stuff, you always root for the offense to do better.
Yeah.
One is just a little more fun. But, hey, it practices, I think, when offense is supposed to look its best, and they did today.
Yeah, and Wink's obviously not doing Wink Martindale things on a passing drill.
No
and
blitzing
stuff like that.
today, which was a little refreshing.
Yeah, well, it's like, this is how how this Giants offense actually can run, and we'll see when Wink Martindale turns up the heat and turns up the pressure. So, Darren Waller checks that box. Looks awesome. I came into today saying that I want to appreciate his speed and seeing it in person and seeing it live. And it's not even that I didn't. It's just that we didn't even get the chance to because they were running stuff that was so short field, a lot of stuff majority in the red zone, but he still wows us with the route running. And that contested grab. Like, go check out our Twitter. Our guy Jeff, who is behind the dish right now, he grabbed the kind of like that end zone view. And you can see, like, if you scrub on your phone, you can see like the frame by frame of like Waller catches it, bobbles it, gets hit, and as he's getting hit from behind by like two guys, he's able to recollect the ball, and it is a catch. Like, it's a full-on catch. You can't dispute it. It's not me just being a Giants fan. So that was like, I like yelled in the stands. That's how excited I was after seeing it.
Do you want to talk about other like receivers or go into like just kind of report on the position battles, who's like starting where?
I mentioned Beasley. So I think maybe we should go there. I think both of them, both Paris Campbell and Cole Beasley, slot receivers, caught touchdown passes. But something was surprising to see how their reps were split up today, Bobby.
Yeah, so Beasley, we were talking about it before practices. Sterling Shep, Wan'Dale Robinson are on the PUP. Jamison Crowder's on NFI, and we're like, hey, Cole Beasley's going to be getting second-string snaps. Well, actually, no, he's not. He was splitting first-team reps with with Paris Campbell in the slot. We said it, man. Cole Beasley did not come here to not be on this team. Like, he's going to fight for for reps on this team and fight to make the roster. Like, he didn't show up here for nothing. And you see him like, hey, he still works those quick game option routes. He's good at setting up DBs with leverage and then breaking off of those. So I think he's going to, like, even when those guys are back, Cole Beasley is going to be in the mix for first team reps. Like, they're going to work him in with the first team. He didn't come here for nothing. And
people called us crazy.
He immediately came in and was like with the first team.
I thought maybe that was a bad question that I asked you because we on our Beasley and Robinson pod, I kind of asked you towards the end. I'm like, day one, where do you think Beasley's going to run? And you would naturally think because Campbell was here during the spring and Beasley's literally been here for 2 days, 3 days, that maybe he would start with the second team. No, like if I had to give it was maybe like 65-35 of maybe 60-40 of Beasley first team to Paris Campbell. And yeah, day one, you don't want to take too much away from it, but it is day one. And you would think that since Campbell was here during the spring, that maybe he would get the majority of them.
Yeah. And they truly did split it between those two.
Yeah.
Again, they were working red zone, so not a ton of wide receiver notes. I will say Jalen Hyatt, and I think he left early with some
heat exhaustion.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't see that officially reported. You do see where he needs to grow. Like, it's it sounds simple, it's kind of generic, but as a route runner, like, there was time, like, routes that he ran where it's like, this is not crisp. Now you see the speed, and I think they gave him a speed sweep too, or something like that,
kind of out of the backfield, yeah.
And you see that take over, and red zone is not where Jalen Hyatt's going to thrive right away either.
No.
But you do see, like, okay, there's some growth needed in this guy's game, and the reason why he fell to the third round, after winning the wide receiver of the year award in the SEC and having all that speed, it's like there's a lot to be worked on in his game in the route running department, where it's just stuff wasn't crisp. There's too many steps on, whip routes or, those quick routes in the red zone. So that was noticeable.
Yeah, I feel like people took that Cowboys video where the Cowboys wide receiver coach, and he's like, I can run routes. And then people, hey, we're Giants fans. We're going to believe in our guys. It's like, yeah, Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, you like the attitude, but that Cowboys coach was kind of like, hey, you need to work on your route run.
So he'll get better at it during camp, and hopefully we see some moments out of Jalen Hyatt. Day one.
Other notes is as we saw some different looking motion stuff. They had Paris Campbell line up like just right up in the back. It wasn't even motion in. They just lined up Paris Campbell in the backfield. He runs a flat out. They throw the ball against up.
Was
scoring.
Darren Waller in the backfield?
They motioned Darren Waller behind Daniel Jones and snapped the ball like that, which is there's gonna
all right
because Darren Waller is gonna be such a good red zone threat. Hey, distract the defense with this and throw the ball here.
All right.
Their teams are going to be focusing on Darren Waller, and especially when you put him in the backfield, that's going to be some interesting stuff.
What else? What else skill position wise?
David Sills.
Oh yeah.
It's insane how good he is in training camp. Every year he is getting wide ass open on some really nice routes, and Tyrod Taylor is just continuing to find him. But it's just you can't even. He's at a point now where it's he could do anything in training camp, and we're not going to take it serious.
No. Oh, well, I mean, at least we won't.
Yeah, which I feel bad about.
Maybe the public will.
I truly feel bad about that because hey, we want to evaluate these guys what they're doing, but it's just no matter what you do, we are not going to take it serious.
Yeah, I mean,
but he is very good at training camp.
He had 2 to 3 touchdowns, and it looked smooth and with separation.
He had a corner route, which is a hard route to run in the red zone, especially in the short and get open. And he just, broke that off and was just wide open for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Found a hole later on where Tyrod Taylor was scrambling, where no one within 10 yards of him. He just does some stuff. The other wide, and I know this is wide receiver heavy, but hey, it's a passing drill today. Bryce Ford Wheaton.
Yeah. Did
what he does. Made a nice acrobatic catch where Tommy DeVito, touchdown Tommy, dual threat DeVito, put it behind him, and he makes a nice acrobatic catch, catches it from behind him, pulls it in, touchdown. So that was obviously exciting. Hopefully we get to see a little bit of that in the preseason.
I have one more. I mean, you talked about this guy, and he had a good day. 88 is he in this camp? Jaden Mickens?
Yeah.
He's one of 2 sleeves rolled up players, so it's automatically that you're going to have a good day. He has the potential to be a fun camp guy. He was running some whip routes. I think he was like a third string slot guy.
Yeah.
So where's he at? Where's he from?
He was the punt returner for the Bucs.
Okay.
And we signed him. We signed him when Richie James had the 2 punt return fumbles versus the Seahawks, but he never ended up returning punts. But they did sign him when the Richie James punt fumbles. Also, I got to admit something. Did a little trolling today.
Not nice of you.
When they do punt and special team, they have 6 different guys catching punts.
And none of them will probably ever, some of them will never return kicks.
Adoree Jackson is one of them. I did record Adoree Jackson returning a punt and Adoree Jackson returning punts, and that was a little trolling. I don't expect that to happen. Me and Justin even argued about it on tomorrow's PPP.
Yeah, PPP.
So make sure to watch that tomorrow if you want to hear us argue.
No, you argued. I was fine.
So if you want to hear that, but it was a little bit of trolling.
And I even told the New York Revival guys after you clipped that up, they came by and it's oh, what did we miss? And I was like, Adoree Jackson, the only one returning kicks, and I saw life left their eyes. It was fun.
Let's go through the position battles and see where guys are at. Now this is day one, so for some reason day one kind of gets seniority. You remember 2020. Spencer Pulley started at center day one, and Nick Gates did day two, and Spencer Pulley never went with the first team after that. So I wouldn't take too much into this, but this is what happened day one. First, kind of surprising, John Michael Smith was not with the first team. They had Ben Bredesen at center, and then Josh Azudu at left guard. Now
we're choosing not to care about that.
Yeah, well, if it's like that on day 2 and day 3, then you're like, oh, they're actually making JMS battle Bredesen for this job. But right now, I wouldn't put too much of that. And we're not seeing the O-line and D-line compete, really. So not much there, but that's interesting. Inside linebacker 2, next to Bobby Okereke, it is Darren Beavers. And I don't know, like, they love Darren Beavers.
Love him.
Like, coming off of that injury, he was the number 2 again. He was the number 2 guy next to Okereke. And again, today wasn't really much of a linebacker day. But, like, he's the starter. Like, it's going to take – I think it's going to have to take Micah McFadden, like, unearthing him from that spot and maybe Beavers struggling. Because they really like Beavers, which is crazy because they drafted McFadden a full round before him, and Beavers is older and coming off the injury.
Yeah, you would think, like, if you're saying day one's about seniority, I know technically Beavers is in the second year, McFadden's in the second year, but Beavers is technically in his rookie year since he didn't play a game last year.
Yeah, you would think that the seniority, if we're going by that, McFadden would have it at least day one, even if they plan to get Beavers in there.
It was split. It was not a split at all. Beavers was out there like 100%.
It was just flat out Beavers was the starter. RB2 was Breida, but they did a lot of running back rotation.
James Robinson wasn't really out there with RB2s.
Yeah,
he was
RB3.
Make the team. He's not going to make the team.
Edge 4, O'Shane Zimenez. Great to have him back. Nickel corner. And this one, hopefully they changed. Darnay Holmes was the starter, who's been a starter for 3 years now.
Yeah.
On the flip side of some of the really good offensive stuff.
Yeah, if there's one player that I had to choose had a bad practice today, it would be Darnay Holmes.
Darnay Holmes was getting, and they were, the defense was running man coverage, and that's where Darnay struggles, and they were picking on Darnay Holmes. And I paid attention to a couple of Cordell Flott reps with the second team, and he was up pressing guys and being able to get hands on guys. So, I mean, his time, like, Flott should be the starter by the end of the week with there, because I mean, that's who they want to play. That's what they want to do. Just do it, because Darnay was, when the DBs watch film today, Darnay's not going to be having a good time because they were going at him pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's something that may change. I kind of hope changes as camp goes on, because Cordell Flott definitely has way more upside as a cornerback in general, whether it's on the outside, inside, whatever, but especially at the slot, he has way more upside than Darnay Holmes does. Darnay Holmes is just too small. He's not man coverage guy, and that's not his fault, but Holmes just doesn't fit what Wink wants to do.
You remember the Cordell Flott play in the Vikings game?
Yeah.
And we looking at this the other day, and it's like, man, you would think he only played on that last drive of the game.
3 snaps, yeah.
Darnay started that. He played that entire game, and they put Cordell on when they knew they were going man coverage, and I guess they couldn't run the ball, and that's obviously an issue with Cordell Flott. I would like someone to ask Cordell Flott straight up, how much do you weigh? And then we can subtract 5 pounds because he's going to lie, and we can kind of get an idea of where he's at. But he didn't, Cordell Flott didn't look razor thin out there. Like Jalen Hyatt, he looks razor thin. Cordell Flott didn't look like that. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's going to be an interesting battle that goes on through the first week or so. And JMS, they drafted him. I mean, Brian Dable said when they drafted him, we got a starting center.
Yeah.
You would think that he moves there. But then what do they do with Ben Bredesen? Does Ben Bredesen start practicing left guard again, or do they put him with the second string center?
Well, I think that's the beauty of Ben Bredesen. And we talked about, I think notably is – Josh Azudu left guard. So where is this going to come? How's the cookie going to crumble? Is it going to be JMS center, which that's what we expect, and then is Ben Bredesen going to move to second team, or is Ben Bredesen going to go to first team left guard? How is that cookie going to crumble?
I think in OTAs Bredesen went to first team left guard, but we'll see. And it seems like they are training him to be the swing interior guy.
I would hope that Azudu, and this is on Azudu. I don't necessarily think it's on Ben Bredesen. I hope Azudu is ready enough to take on that left guard job, because somebody is inevitably, they may get nicked up, they may miss time, and I think having that super utility interior where Ben Bredesen can snap the ball and he can play either guard spot, I think that's super, super valuable.
And hopefully Glowinski gets hurt, because I want Bredesen. I do not want Bredesen on the bench. I hope Azudu ends up winning that job out, winning it, not just getting it, but winning that job out. But
yeah,
I think Bredesen is going to be a better player than Mark Glowinski this season.
All right, what else?
There was Deontay Banks, some good and bad. There was I saw there was where he really pressed up Hodgins, but then Hodgins put him to work with a whip route. I think Banks is someone I'm going to try and key in on once they get into because today they didn't do very much 11 on 11.
And also, they didn't. I thought today would be like a perfect 1v1 wide receiver DB day, and they didn't do it.
That's usually like
bummed
a
out.
no pads. They didn't do wide receiver corner one-on-ones today, which was surprising.
And it's
But
gonna be hot as balls tomorrow, so I don't know.
maybe they're getting them ramped up today. I don't know, but they didn't do very much 11 on 11.
New field. Now I'm knocking on wood.
Did it look different?
It does look different because it used to be grass. It's not grass anymore. Now the new surface is supposed to mimic grass. Like that is what the new surface's intention is. They've changed the new surface at the practice facility, and they changed the new surface obviously at MetLife Stadium as well. Fun fact: Detroit, where we will be going for the joint practices, I know Ford Field, their playing surface is also like the same surface, the grass, like the grassier surface that we have. I don't know if their practice field also changed too. But knock on wood, no injuries today. But the only injury was Nacho. Car accident.
Yeah, Nacho got into a car accident and he's in concussion
So he was
protocol.
not out there.
So at least he's not like in like a busted up arm, broken
Right.
ankle protocol. At least it's he just needs to rest.
You know what's funny? Shout out if you're listening to this. I had two people being like, out of all things that somebody could have asked me today, I was hanging out being like, oh yeah, I love your stuff, blah, blah, blah. Where's Nacho? I was like, what? Did you see Saquon? Saquon Barkley had a nice receiving touchdown. I don't know if you talked about that.
Yeah.
Nice to see him out there on the field. Hey, you're a Giant. Not Saquon, not Jones, not Dable. Dable was really interactive with the fans and people were cheering for him. Hopefully that lasts after this year, knowing the trajectory of Giants coaches. Where's Nacho? I was like, I don't know. And there, that came out.
Julian asked a great question that I'm frustrated about.
I can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
I know we're gonna do this on the podcast, and this is training camp. This is training camp recap, not Giants news and updates.
Yeah.
We did it. We got paid. Andrew Thomas.
Oh,
Paid. Andrew Thomas is paid from
did it.
us jumping up and down when he was drafted. From we did it. From us making All Pro last year. And I have no problem saying we with me. And
yeah. Do you
Andrew
think we
Thomas.
can ask him for $1,000?
I'm going so. A little teaser: Andrew Thomas may be inducted to something soon. So we'll see what happens if that happens. But very happy for Andrew Thomas getting paid, and
Another 7 a.m.
this
news
is
break.
why I was talking with the Big Blue Banter guys yesterday. I was like, I just ignore stuff anymore, especially like national media. That's why it's like the national media is like, man, Andrew Thomas is gonna. It's like, God, what the hell are you talking about? You think Andrew Thomas's contract negotiations will go any different because of this Saquon Barkley situation? Are you guys out of your mind? And he's the first one in that class to get an extension out. Yeah, I was surprised Wirfs didn't get his already. Maybe that happens in the next. Maybe it happens now that the Andrew Thomas domino falls.
We got to see if he can play left tackle first.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that happen.
Big test.
And is he the first person just from that class? No, Justin Herbert got an extension yesterday.
Before.
So one of the first guys from that class. So congratulations to Andrew Thomas. You're
huge.
here for a long time, and we're here for a good time.
We're here for a good time. We're going to ask for $1,000 each.
I wanted to watch Evan Neal today, but again, there wasn't much O-line, D-line action.
Really not.
There was one rep versus Ezo Gillard 11 on 11. I was like, good job. But it was the only time I watched Evan Neal.
Habakkuk Baldonado is not as big as I thought, and Jordan Riley is very big.
Jordan Riley's huge. Now I know why they drafted that dude. He looks way bigger than he does on film. Like, he is like, they must have met him on person. It's like, oh, you're literally just like a big, giant bulk ball of muscle. Like, you are a medicine ball.
You are a medicine ball.
The way he's out there. And with all the defensive tackle injuries, and now Nacho is one of those, like, the defensive line reps those defensive tackles are going to get a lot of opportunities to set themselves apart. Okay. So DJ Davidson's, on PUP. Ashawn Robinson's on PUP.
Yep.
Like, Jordan Riley is going to be like with the second team defensive tackles, once they put the pads on later this week.
Yep. Do we have anything else before we go to the chat?
No, I mean, everyone asked, how did DJ look? Yeah, let's just go to the chat. We got, about 5 more minutes or so. Hostile says, how did DJ look? I mean, he looked good today. Now, again, it's like that Saquon Barkley highlight play. That's a play where it's like, you're not going to be just sitting back there in the pocket and then get to run around like this and create like that most of the time in the red zone. But he looked good. Like the bad plays on off, there was no quote unquote bad plays on offense. They were plays on offense where it's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen when you have 11 on 11. But the 11 on 11 was quick and sharp.
I think the only interception that I saw was Nick McLeod having an interception on either Tyrod or probably Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I don't remember which quarterback that was.
I think Nick McLeod did have an interception, though. Congratulations, Nick McLeod.
Well, yeah, when the third team's out there and you had Jalen Hyatt and Bryce Ford Wheaton, I'm like, Tommy, just throw it to those guys. That's all we want to see is those two
Electric
guys.
Factory. Tommy DeVito.
Like I don't want to see Jaden Mickens touchdowns. I want to see Bryce Ford Wheaton and Jalen Hyatt be targeted.
I want to see Jaden Mickens touchdowns. Yeah, I'm telling you, keep him in mind. Jaden Mickens. He's going to be a guy that I guarantee we're going to keep talking about him with like this third team and maybe even the second team. We'll keep an eye out for him.
How about the Jalen Hyatt rushing touchdown? Yeah, that was nice. Now, again, rushing plays are hard to judge because they're not tackling, right? Like, you know, there was a guy who, you know, he might have gotten tackled twice, but so you're not putting much emphasis into that type of stuff.
We got a super chat earlier, Jeff?
I think we did. I think it was.
What was it, Jeff?
Here it is.
Hey, chat. How you doing?
Everybody say hi to Jeff.
Can they hear Jeff?
Yeah, they should be able to hear me. If they can't, just repeat back to them, Bobby. Goblins Are Real asks you.
Goblins
Are Real. Asks you, who are you most excited about extending? Sexy Dexy, Thomas the Promised, or Saquads? For me, it's Thomas, as I expect it would be for you. Enjoy camp.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Thomas, because Andrew Thomas getting that money it feels like a personal.
It's directly tied to your
It's a personal accomplishment for me, like
to your success.
And if you are, because we get new listeners, you know, that's the thing that happens. If you're like, what the hell is he talking about? I've just been the biggest Andrew Thomas fan. Like I was breaking down Andrew Thomas college film in 2019, a year before he was in the draft. I remember literally being at the beach on my phone watching Andrew Thomas film on like a beach weekend.
Easy to fall in love with somebody on the beach.
The 2020 draft class had those 4 tackles. Thomas was not number 1 for almost anybody, but he was my guy.
Louis Riddick was like number 7.
Yeah, dumbass Louis Riddick. And just was our guy. We had him in our van for an interview. He's just been, he's posted our stuff. He's
had him on our van.
We really like Andrew Thomas, and Thomas likes us. So
we have Thomas shirts.
I mean, he's my favorite player on the team. He's the only active player on the team I have a jersey on.
Shop.johnboymedia.com.
So I'm a big Andrew Thomas fan.
Awards now.
Yeah, like I'm the reason he went second team All Pro, because I put the clips together, said awards now, got the name out there. Like he deserved it, yes.
And Giants fans started bullying,
but
that's bullying works.
Yeah, we literally started bullying everyone who had votes on that stuff and got Andrew Thomas in.
There you go. Bullying works.
And Do a Barrel Roll and Grump were also Andrew Thomas guys.
Yes.
So those are our Giants film guys.
Do a Barrel Roll lives by me. I hope I get to meet him soon.
Let's see. Who was the second safety today? It was Jason Pinnock.
Yeah.
Didn't see much from him. I was surprised they didn't rotate that a little more because there's so many guys battling for spots there.
Javarius Owens got popped in the end zone. I hope he's all right.
Yeah,
just
they ran
against another defender.
Yeah, they ran
into each other.
And
it's like, I don't really understand why. Like, I almost think not playing with like tops on. I could understand wearing shorts and just going like, just tell guys, hey, don't like wrap up and tackle. I think playing without pads on is dangerous when you're wearing helmets.
It is, because it's like you're still like. Tell a second string safety to not go full speed.
That's exactly what happened. Like Owens,
you can't tell them to do that, and you're just giving them less padding.
Owens could not be practicing tomorrow for that reason.
And I think he will. I think that's why they didn't do as much 11 on 11, is because they know that. Like where last year, day one was a lot of 11 on 11, and I think that's why they didn't do as much. I mean, the first team only had 5 11 on 11 reps. There was 2 touchdown passes. A check down to Eric Gray, an incompletion, and then DJ read. There was a few read options. Like stop running the ball on 11 on 11.
Tyrod too. It's like, all right, what did he did? DJ
the
did
second
run the
team
ball.
was like all running plays. Like, what is going on here?
DJ was running the ball inside the red zone a lot, and I think that is going to be when we had like that over under discussion on Daniel Jones, total touchdowns this year. I think like Daniel Jones is, what was that, 24 and a half that we said total?
Yeah, because that was one less than his. Wait, no, it was 26 and a half because he had 26 his rookie year.
So I think he's going to go, and I think we are going to continue to see Daniel Jones be utilized in the red zone a lot like Josh Allen. And if there's one territory that I'm comfortable comparing Daniel Jones to Josh Allen to, it's their ability to run the ball together.
Yeah. Darby says, did I miss the linebacker talk? If not, how'd they look? Again, today's not a great day to look at linebackers, but the one thing we did say is Darren Beavers is essentially a starter. Like that's going to happen. I'd be surprised if he's not at this point.
I appreciate it. We have like almost 1,000 people in here, which is pretty crazy. So I do encourage you, if you miss part of the stream, to go back, rewind, listen to the whole thing, and because we did kind of touch on everything.
A fan with a mic said, what schematically on offense made you most excited? I think it was just simply using the 12 personnel in the red zone, and it's like Waller's getting targets and Bellinger were getting targets.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, now we actually have 2 red zone options. And 3 if you count Chris Meyer, who caught the game. People forget that he caught the game-winning touchdown versus week 1 versus the Titans.
This is true.
Let's see. Again, people are going to ask O-line, D-line stuff. There's no pads on besides helmets, so you're not going to get a ton of that out of this recap. Once they get pads on, there's going to be a lot of O-line, D-line talk and linebacker talk, which I'm very excited for. Make sure to like this stream too. There's 950 people watching, only 130 likes.
Whoa. Thank you to everybody. I thought I was trying to find, at certain dull moments of the practice, I was trying to find like team dynamics, who's talking with who's hanging out with who. That's always tough when you're so far and obviously you can't hear anything. There's music blasting. Dable was setting a cool tone. Dable was getting in some people's faces that weren't doing what they need to do.
Who was that?
Brian Jones, tight end.
ECU, tight end / H-back / was a linebacker at Oklahoma his first 2 years and had an interception.
Yeah, so Tommy DeVito, he was supposed to run a fade to the back corner of the end zone. Instead, Ryan Jones cuts upfield for some reason. Tommy DeVito throws the ball wrong, and Dable gets really mad at Ryan Jones. So I saw that at some point. It was like we were transitioning to 7-on-7, and the second team was starting. So Dable was trying to hey, come on, let's pick up the pace, stuff like that. I even saw him at one point really going over to the defense after a certain team, after a certain 7-on-7 or team period, and instructing the defense and talking to those guys. So hey, offensive coach, hey, or can you coach both sides of the ball? Yeah, you can. Shit like that. It was cool to see Wink.
Someone, Jenks says, was Eric Gray getting a lot of reps? She was working with the first team.
Yeah.
The one non-touchdown completion in 11-11 was a Daniel Jones check down to Eric Gray. And running back, I think, really is going to be wide open. They're giving all those guys reps with the first team. Obviously, they're not going to overwork Saquon in training camp. So Eric Gray, he caught a pass. Again, they're not running the ball, but Eric Gray, caught that pass. Matt Breida, got first team reps. So all 3 of the backs got first team reps. So that'll be interesting. I think they're going to give our guy a fair shot to beat Matt Breida out there.
Jahad Ward in all black, wearing a black sweatshirt, compression long pants, and black shorts.
Yeah, the man likes the color black, and the man likes to sweat.
And there were some fans that shouted, "Hot, he must be hot."
Yeah.
And he smiled and he left.
Yeah. Frankie G, we'll finish with how did Banks look? He got beat on a whip route, touchdown by Isaiah Hodgins. But you saw some good press up reps. So it's day 1 for him. He's a rookie, so I'm not going to judge him too harshly. If we get a couple weeks in the camp and he gets picked on, that's when you worry a little bit. As far as just immediate play as a rookie, not long term. What does he turn into? But some good and bad for him. So we talked a lot of wide receivers, so I'm just rewind and check it out.
Yeah, rewind, check it out.
We're gonna end this now. I know these are live streams and live streams are more interactive, but I do view these as training camp reports. Go back, watch them. You read training camp articles. This is our version of that. So hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe. We're gonna have we're having podcast episodes out every weekday at 8 a.m. So we'll have an interview with Arch Stapleton out Friday. Tomorrow's player profile projection is Evan Neal and Adoree Jackson.
If you see us at camp, come say hi.
Come say hello.
We're there every day. Hope you can make it out.
Live
really
streams after every practice. We're gonna do. You know what? I forgot to do the practice recap video today.
Oh,
damn! Got to remember to do that. So
Got to remember.
Reminding me that after practices to do that from now on. All right, we'll see you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably a little later because we're doing an interview with Art Stapleton. But we'll see you then. Until then, let's go Big Blue.
Bye, Twitter.